Good evening. My name is Nick Sturgeon, President of Speedway Town Council. It is 7 o'clock on August 11th, 2025. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Start off with, wow, introductions. That's pretty loud. My apologies. That is way loud tonight. Starting off with introductions, we'll begin to my far right with our town manager, Grant Kleinheinz.
Good evening.
Next to me is Councilor Sean Harold.
Good evening.
To my far left is town attorney, Zach Nicely.
Good evening.
Next to him is our town clerk treasurer, Philip Faust.
Good evening.
Next to him is Councilor Vince Noblet.
Good evening.
And to my immediate left is Vice President Jason Delisle.
Good evening.
And minutes from the previous minutes, the July 28th, 2025 meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the July 28th meeting.
I'll second.
Any comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0. Item 3, memorandum, approval of memorandum of administrative session of the Speedway Town Council on July 28th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0. Item 4, memorandum, approval of memorandum of joint executive session of the Speedway Town Council, the Redevelopment Commission, Economic Development Commission on July 28th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any comments, questions, discussion? Now, I did have one question get brought up. We did not have any members of the EDC present.
I think the title on the agenda is wrong. The minutes are correct.
Okay, the minutes are correct. Okay. So just wanted to
So
call
just
that
strike
out.
the Economic
Yeah.
Development Commission from the agenda and
Yep. All right. All right. Any other comments or questions? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor of approving as with the amended agenda item, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0. Item number 5, approval of the updated production broadcasting consent agreement for the sports coverage with the ISC Sports Network. And,
Brian is coming out
okay, Brian's coming up.
where he's supposed to.
Oh, there he is.
I apologize for the audio. I think we have a mixer acting up. So, okay, so the agreement that is before you guys is the same agreement we've had the last several years. The only difference is this one's a little bit more open-ended. We just took out the language of every year so that it's we don't have to keep coming every single year. Basically, the push behind it is we don't do any more work. We just send them what we've produced. They air it on their Comcast channel. They air it on their streaming services. And then if they sell any ads on that, we get 50% of those proceeds. We don't have to give them any ads we sell. So it's a win-win. Plus it gives us access to 50,000 more homes, which I think has helped with our sponsorship drive. So.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any comments, questions for Brian on this?
No, thank you for all the hard work you guys do. It's important that, you put out a quality product like that, and it really shows that the town cares. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Make sure you turn in on August 29th for the first football game at the stadium, too.
Yeah, oh, that'd be neat. Yeah, hope to be there.
Yeah, I believe we'll be doing 19 sporting events this fall, so we've increased a little bit of the number because of the sponsorships we've gotten as well, so.
Very nice. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Item 6, resolution number 2025-12, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Speedway, Indiana, approving the Marion County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan grant.
Yes, so we are being asked to approve this update of the consolidated City of Indianapolis, Marion County, of which we are a part, multi-hazard mitigation plan. They work directly with our fire chief and police chief on any hazard that might come up. And we're talking storms or floods or any of those types of natural disasters, as well as other things that might come up. The plan is fairly lengthy. It is attached in these binders. This is for the council. We will have one with the fire and the police department, and we'll also have one in our office if anyone is interested in reviewing it.
Some light reading.
Some light reading, but we do recommend approval of this. And you might notice that it was updated or initially approved in September of 2024. We were contacted early last month and just couldn't get it on the July 28th agenda, so we put it on tonight, but we're fine. So we'll answer any questions that you might have.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-12.
I'll second.
Any comments, questions, discussion?
No, it's a pretty comprehensive plan. It'd be interesting to see, get the chief's opinions of this plan.
Well, what I would say, and they can definitely make comment, they presented it to me and said, we need to approve this, so I think they supported it.
Well, as chief is coming up, I actually worked with Jacob Spence, so I know where he has come from IFD and what he's done, worked the Super Bowl with him. So if he's got his name on it, I know it's a high-quality product.
And yes, all the other entities, all the other excluded cities, county, city individuals that worked on this, and it really just goes through and outlines the vulnerabilities and areas that natural disasters, floods, tornadoes, and as you can see, like you said, Jason, pretty extensive document. Makes fascinating reading. So all 200 pages of it. But no, we participated in the meetings, and we full-heartedly would recommend that we approve the plan.
Any other comments or questions? All right, hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor of approving resolution number 2025-12, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0. Item 7, approval of amendment number 3 to task order number 2, wastewater on-call services with Wessler Engineering grant.
Yes, so this is a 2-year ongoing agreement that we have with Wessler. We have several of these agreements with different engineering firms. They provide daily, weekly, monthly consulting services. You'll notice this task order was originally adopted in November of 2023. It is now going on 2 years old. We have had them do a lot more work on several things. One of those is the disaster mitigation plan that is required every year for both the water and the wastewater plant. You approved that a couple of meetings ago. This is additional services for their general on-call. We think that no more than $15,000 will be spent by the end of the year, and we will have on your agenda probably in December or January the next 2-year agreement. We have just had a lot of other things come up that we have required their services on, and this is a not to exceed figure that they work on and then bill us monthly as needed. So we recommend approval of this amendment of $15,000.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote to approve. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes 4-0. Item 8, approval of task order number 9 for the Lowhead Dam repair determination with Wessler Engineering. Grant.
So if you didn't know, we do have a Lowhead Dam on Eagle Creek that was put in to create depth there so that we could take water from that creek. This was put in, I think it was put in the 60s or 70s. Annually, we have to do an inspection of it. It does deteriorate over time. We have noticed some issue with the concrete apron over the past couple of years. They continue to monitor that. They have given us this proposal to do this year's inspection at the cost of not to exceed $6,000 time and material. And this is one of those things that we are required to do by agreement with the city of Indianapolis and according to our permit. I'll answer any questions that you might have. One of these days, we're going to have to replace that, and it's not going to be cheap. Just, I'm warning us, right?
We can't put
Yeah.
sticks and twigs out there.
I mean, we've tried to bring some beavers in. It just didn't work.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Any comments, questions, discussion?
All I gotta say is, that dam has been leaking on it'd be the west end of it for years. And I think, because Eagle Creek is controlled water out of Eagle Creek Reservoir, it's only certain times a year that it gets even high enough to even go over it. And that's probably what saved it so far. But eventually, we're going to have to do something to correct it. And it'd be good to have the plan so we can start, because it's going to happen when you least expect it.
Yeah, it is on the priority list in the capital improvement plan, but it is, I'm not going to say low priority. It is
Yeah.
lower priority than some of the other projects.
Anything else? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0. Item 9, ordinance number 1412, an ordinance amending certain restricted funds for the operation of the Speedway Police and Fire Departments. Grant.
So this is very basic. We are simply trying to amend the language of the funds for the motorcycle fund to be a little more permissive. We receive considerable funding every year. We then use that to simply maintain, purchase, and upkeep our motorcycle fleet. As you know, you approved the purchase of 5 new motorcycles last meeting for about 55 or 56,000. I'm trying to remember the full amount. But there's additional funds in there that we would like to expand the scope of that fund to be able to use dollars towards police vehicles, safety equipment, et cetera. If you notice on page 2 of the ordinance under what is now section 2, we have expanded that definition to say vehicles, vehicle equipment, and other public safety gear as its established purpose. This is a non-reverting fund, for lack of a better word. The funds put into it that typically come from racing activities, escorts, and those types of things that the police receive, and then they put those dollars into those funds, as well as the other funds that we have. They kind of split them. But we're trying to expand the scope of this to be able to use some of those dollars on other equipment needs. And I don't know, do we need to have a unanimous consent on this to approve?
First reading.
First reading, unanimous consent, so we'll need to go through
So-
that process.
Unanimous consent to pass on first reading.
Yep, and then, yep.
All right. So
I'll answer any questions. Also, Chief is in the audience. Chief is in support of this. We discussed this. It is a way for us to stretch those dollars further and equip and supply our officers with the equipment that they need.
all right. So I will start off with a motion for passing ordinance number 1412 on first reading for unanimous consent.
I'll make a motion for approval.
Any comments, questions, discussion?
I'll second that motion.
All right. Thanks. Getting a little ahead.
Officially,
Yeah. So any discussion on any hesitation, concerns about passing this tonight on? Okay. With that said, I will call for a vote. All those in favor of passing ordinance number 1412 on unanimous consent, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Passes 4-0. Now, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 1412.
I'll second.
Any comments, questions, discussion?
No, hearing that the chief is in favor of this, I think it is definitely a needed addition, and it'd be, as far as the flexibility from that standpoint.
Anything else? All right, hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor of passing ordinance number 1412, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Item 10, approval of claims and utility adjustments. Philip.
Good evening. I do have requests for both this evening. They span the time period of July 24th through August 6th. The claims are on 11 pages and total $1,683,448.86. And there are two billing adjustments as well. I would ask for your approval.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve claims and utility adjustments.
I'll second that.
Any comments, questions, discussion for Philip? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All those in favor of approving claims and utility adjustments, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0. All right, moving on. Reports from department supervisors. Communications, Cheryl.
Good evening, Council. First, I want to give a shout out to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum for being nominated as one of the best motor racing museums in the country. If residents want to vote, check out the museum's website before August 20th. Beginning August 13th, the Speedway Public Library will begin offering free tutoring for students who live in Speedway again. Homework help will be held every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Just a few notices that I've shared with the community lately. Waste Management has launched a new waste management self-service website customized for Town of Speedway residents. A couple things the residents are able to do with this is view trash, recycling, bulk pickup guidelines specific to Speedway's contract, check holiday schedules and service updates, request bulk pickups, report missing collections, submit container repair or swap out requests. Things they still will need to do through the town would be anything that would be related to their billing, account info, or to stop or start services. Again, they would still contact the Town of Speedway for that. This rollout is a really good user-friendly tool. I did go through it a little bit, but we would ask residents to be patient with any new rollout. There sometimes are glitches in the beginning, and we've run into a couple, but they've fixed them very quickly. So just an update on that.
So Cheryl, just, is it, I guess the purpose behind doing this, is it just to make things easier? Because I've seen some comments, heard some comments about, why do we need to go through the town instead go directly through Waste Management? So could you address some of those?
I'm not sure I have a really good answer for you. The things that they're not able to do, such as manage the billing and account info, Philip may know this better, but I understand that it's because their billing is done through the town, so that's why we need to retain those features. The other items are simply, I think they're items that are requested on a regular basis. They're kind of standard requests, so it's just as easy for them to go through this self-service tool. They're probably automated answers would be my guess, which when I showed the information, I did make sure we had a customer service number for them to contact directly. So I don't know that we're saying you can't contact the town as you did before.
I think it's just trying to make it a little more user-friendly and give other options. The reality is, if it's something fairly major, you still need to contact the town because we then follow up. You can get on the website, hey, you got a missed pickup or cans broken, but we still need to be contacted because we need to be able to follow up.
Yeah, I
That's
guess.
kind of the service we offer.
Yeah, my concern is just making sure that our residents know exactly when and where they should be, interacting with us versus them. Because I don't want them to go to Waste Management assuming it's going to get taken care of, and then.
I think we have a meeting on Thursday with them, do we not, Waste
Yes,
Management?
I will not be at that meeting, but there is a meeting to
get a little more
clarify.
detailed, so I think we'll be able to provide, after that, some more information.
All right, thank you.
And another item, I simply wanted to reiterate a statement that the town provided to residents and the local media outlets last week. And I'm just going to read this as it was quoted. The town of Speedway is aware of the recent media coverage regarding the U.S. Department Homeland Security's referring to the ICE portion of the Miami Correctional Facility as the Speedway Slammer. This designation was developed and released independently by the federal agency without the town's involvement or prior notice regarding the use of the name Speedway. Our primary focus remains the well-being of our residents, businesses, and visitors.
Yeah, and I will also comment
Yes,
on that
that's
because
okay.
I spent probably way more time last week on this than I really wanted to, but I did raise concerns with both our U.S. senators, the lieutenant governor's office, the governor's office, and others to let them know and the feedback and what we're hearing from the town of how we're not pleased with that and just that our image as a town, we want to be a racing town. That is our image, and our schools and all this other stuff. So I know I heard and spoke with a lot of folks, and I did raise those concerns up to those that are more appropriately able to handle those requests and it would have more impact. Because, I mean, frankly, it's the federal government. They're going to do what they're going to do. And, I mean, we're just lowly town councilors, so not much power there.
Yeah.
So,
Thank
but
you.
thank you
Thank
for your work on getting that communication out.
Okay, thanks. Was just going to run through some of the events that are currently moving through my office. August 21st is Run 317. Start time is 7 p.m. They anticipate this being a sellout event with 2,000 participants. Last year, they had about 1,500. There is a new run course this year that council approved a few months back. This will include walking/running inside IMS alongside the front straight grandstands. The town of Speedway was voted the #1 post-celebration place out of the 5 Run 317 locations, so that's kind of cool. So hopefully we do that again this year. Speedway Lions does help to secure the event volunteers for this event, and in turn, Run 317 makes a donation back to the Lions, which then is donated back to the Speedway community through scholarships, town event support, parks programming, school initiatives, things like that. So it really is a cool event to support. Please note that Main Street between 14th and Gilman will have restrictions on event day. Parking will be restricted in the section Main Street between 14th and Gilman, beginning at 12 p.m. Then at 2 p.m., this section will be closed to vehicular traffic. Businesses were notified today as a mass communication, and then the businesses specifically affected directly. I reached out to them again, and then we'll just continue to share with residents as we get closer to the event. A couple more. August 23rd, we have a ribbon cutting at the Smoothie King that's on Crawfordsville Road. It's been open for a little bit, and I've become a frequent customer, so that's a neat store to check out. Movie on Main update. The next 2 movies on Main will be held inside PRI, Performance Racing Industry, so that we don't have to deal with weather and such. Start times for both movies will be 6 p.m. The first one will be September 9th. PRI is sponsoring Ford versus Ferrari. September 12th, Bell Helmets will sponsor Gran Turismo. These are weather makeup movies. Still working through how we're going to move through with Movie on Main, but at least those, as of right now, those are our last 2, and then I'll provide an update where the program's going from here out. September 13th, Coffee and Cards event at Delara. September 13th, Jazz on Main is a Speedway Chamber event, and it's at the Plaza Park on Main Street. September 18th, IMSA Street Fest is being planned. Details coming after it is presented to council for approval at the August 25th meeting. September 19th, the ribbon cutting at the Weston School located at Founders Square. October 2nd, Taste of Speedway, again by the Speedway Chamber, and it will be held at Delara. And October 3rd, Hometown Parade with rain date of October 4th. An ongoing list of these events and others by other businesses in town can be found on both the town Facebook page and the website. And I'm sorry I keep losing my voice tonight. So that is all I have.
Any questions for Cheryl?
No.
Just love seeing PRI get really involved in supporting the town that they have over the last year.
Yes, they have. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your communication out to the public, especially on 25th Street, because even though it's redundant of what's going on in terms of the schools are getting the information, but we have a lot of residents that we need to give them the latest.
Yeah.
And it just seems that your communication fortifies that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a collaboration with both Dr. Trebling and Rob and Jared at the street department. So it's a group effort.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Okay.
Next up, economic development. Kyle.
Thank you, councilors. First thing I got, roundabout, there on 16th and Main Street, it's looking great. We've got the concrete walls going in for the limestone veneers. Once we get that set in, contractor is anticipating us to be about a week ahead of schedule. Hopefully we can keep that throughout the duration of the project. They will be, I've been telling them about the Run 317 event and the IMSA Street Fest event. They'll be sure to have the site clean up as best as they can and put the barrels where they need to, so public safety and everybody still has access to the around the area. But that project's going really well at this time. We will be revisiting 25th and High School. We had a street study. We'll be revisiting that and hopefully have a solution as to how we can try and make the road infrastructure better throughout that area. I've been working on the 16th and Mickley RFP. As you know, that's about 4 to 4.5 acres worth of land out there. We're going to throw an RFP out and see what we can get from that. I hope to get that out by the end of the month and try and have a contractor or developer under contract by the end of the year. Yeah, the only other thing I have, I did just hear from the Founders Senior Housing. As you know, we've got a pilot with them. Part of that is going through compliance of the pilot. One of those is making sure that the units are being rented out per the agreement, 80%, 50, and 30% AMIs. They go through the IHCDA to get that confirmed. We just received the letter. Everything's good. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing renting. They did open towards the end of 2024, so they didn't have a lot of community engagement for the residents in there that the pilot agreement asked for. However, I am working with them and their compliance team, and they have assured me that they'll have no problem meeting those requirements moving forward to keep that pilot payment going for the next, I think that's 25 years.
Any questions, comments for Kyle? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Next up, Police, Chief Upchurch.
Good evening, Council. This past Friday, Officer Karen Campos was sworn in as our newest member of the Speedway Police Department. Officer Campos, Speedway High School graduate, and he's going to begin the academy here in about 2 weeks. So he's not going to get to see a lot of us before he leaves. We currently have 2 candidates in our background phase. They passed our polygraph. We have 1 open position, and we anticipate a retirement in October. So we have 2 open positions that we're trying to fill. Since our last meeting, we did have the Brickyard 400 race. Happy to report that we had no serious issues, no major incidents, and we'd just like to thank our public safety partners for assisting us in making that such a good event. And just a reminder that school is back in session. And we just ask that our commuters and those driving be mindful of the school crossings and the children that are walking to school on a daily basis now. And we, thus far throughout this year, we've had 15,620 calls for service, and we've issued 3,507 traffic citations. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Chief?
Yeah, Chief, what's the current status of the officer that was involved with the accident?
Thank you for asking that. We were assisting IMPD the other night. One of our officers saw the suspect vehicle and tried to stop the car. He fled. The other officer was on his way to assist and had his lights on, I believe at 34th and Auburn. And as he was going through the light, the suspect came through and pretty violent collision. We sent him to the hospital to make sure he was okay. He was back to work the next day.
Wow.
And very lucky the way that crash turned out, that he was not hurt more seriously. And I think he had a small laceration to his head, was it. So, but we just commend him and Officer Pell for their efforts. And I believe it all started from a shooting at a home off Dunk Drive up on 38th Street. So IMPD handled that, and then we handled the crash. So, but he is back to work. So
Good to hear.
officers.
Good
Yes.
to hear.
Anything else? All right, thank you,
Thank you.
Chief. Next up, Fire, Chief Milhorn.
Good evening. Just a couple things for us. We applied for and received a grant from Marathon for $4,000. We got the check in the mail last week. We're going to replace some hose with that. We've been wanting to do it for a while, so this gives us opportunity to get that done. We are hiring someone. We were losing someone towards the end of September. We sent them through their psychological and physical testing last week. We don't have the results. We don't expect anything, so we'll be putting a new person on the job here, hopefully the 1st of October. Then they're going to be going to recruit school about a week later, so we won't have them on the job very long. We did, I think, Philip, we finalized the sale of the engine today, correct?
We're close to.
So we're really close of our 2009 reserve engine. Philip and I worked on it a little bit today, so I think that is done. So July, we had 317 runs. Our yearly total to date is 2,212. We're about 100 more than we were at this time last year. So we average about 3,500 runs a year, which is pretty busy for a fire department. That's all I have, unless you guys have any questions.
Thank you guys for taking care of the band. I know you fed them and hosed them down during their band camp
Our
a
guys
couple weeks
love doing
ago.
that, so yeah.
I know the kids appreciate it.
Good. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
any other comments or questions for Chief Milhorn?
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Park and Recreation, Tammy Smith.
Good evening.
Evening.
First of all, you will notice at Leonard Park, we have the new park swing benches have been installed. So those are up. If you haven't seen them, go check those out, give them a try. And then we also have 2 large message boards that were just installed last week, one in each park. Each of the message boards has 3 panels. So it replaced the semi-large message boards we had in there that were kind of, the doors were wonky and plexiglass kept getting vandalized. So hopefully these will hold up better. They're much nicer. We will be dedicating one of those 3 panels to the tribute trees. We've had ongoing issues with the plaques of the tribute trees being vandalized, removed, and we've already replaced those 3 times. We will not be replacing them anymore. We won't remove the ones that are still there, but if they come up missing, we're not replacing them. And instead, we'll dedicate one of these panels, and we'll do some kind of a way to dedicate those trees, maybe a map, number, something along those lines. We're not 100% sure, but we hope to have whatever we're doing done by this spring. So that's our plan for that. I want to remind everybody that our tennis courts and pickleball courts, please only use those courts as intended. We are seeing an awful lot of people with roller skates, rollerblades, bicycles, riding chalk on them, and that all is a detriment to the surface. We're finding people go in there with soccer balls and they're kicking them into the nets, kicking them into the fence, it bends the fence, it ruins the nets. So please use those courts as intended. Appreciate that. We have 2 more concerts left. This week is Serenade Jazz Orchestra. Next week we have Soul Street. That one was rescheduled from one we had to cancel due to weather. We do want to again thank our sponsors, Speedway Lions Club, Wessler Engineering, Alliance Insurance, Fun Days Ice Cream and Sweets, Jennifer and Curtis Miller family, orthodontic experts, and I want to give a special extra shout out to Fun Days. They donated these lemonade slushy pouches that we were able to pass out to people at one of our concerts, as well as the Take Flight Predator Bird Show on the plaza on days that were like 90 degrees. And so that was well received and much appreciated. This week, I'm extremely busy getting prepared for the final preparations for the West Indy Art and Music Festival, which is this Saturday. We're going to do some pre-setup Friday. The little parking lot by the water tower at Meadowood will be closed at 4 p.m. The street department will have already delivered bike racks and barricades sometime on Friday, as well as the porta potties will be delivered earlier that day as well. The event is scheduled for Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We will be closing the School Drive Road from Parkwood to Beauport at 8 a.m. We will reopen it, should be open back up by 8 p.m. or as soon as we have things moved out enough to open it back up. Let's see, we've got 5 food trucks coming. There'll be 2 other food type vendors. We've got 7 concert jazz type bands that'll be there playing throughout the day. We've got over 30 vendors this year, art and craft vendors, as well as probably a half a dozen community type vendors that'll be out there. We've got the beer and wine garden again this year. In the event of weather, we do have a rain date of Sunday. If there's no storms predicted but possible slight rain, we'll still move forward with it on Saturday. We've been a little rained on before, so that's not going to stop us unless it's storming. I'm still in need of volunteers. If anyone's interested, please reach out to me. I did notice today I got a few more signed up, so I'm excited about that. And then I want to give an extra shout out to the Lions Club for the use of their golf carts again this year for this event. It's very much appreciated as I'm all over the park from one end to the other multiple times. I do need to figure out if they're charged and who I need to talk to about that. Market in Meadowood is still happening on Thursdays through September 4th, 5 p.m. to 7:30. Presently, like this past week, we had tomatoes, fresh eggs, sourdough breads, cookies, gourmet popcorn, homemade oatmeal cream pies, which they sold out of, wood crafts, fiber gifts, handmade greeting cards, specialty soaps, 3D printed gifts and decor, and fresh cut flowers. So come out and support those vendors the last several weeks that they're going to be there. I also wanted to remind everybody that on Thursday, September 11th, from 5 to 7 is our Speedway Public Safety and Service Community Day. Speedway Police Department will be grilling the hot dogs. Speedway Fire will provide water and chips. Town leadership will be dipping ice cream, I'm assuming again this year, donated by Fun Days.
Lifting with that right arm.
Get that dipping arm in order there. Town vehicles will be on display. There'll be lots of community groups and businesses on site to share what they offer the community. And Speedway Library is sponsoring the ever-popular foam cannon, AKA lots of bubbles, for the kiddos to play in from 5:30 to 6:30. If there are any local community groups, businesses, churches, and such wishing to participate, to please email me at parks@speedwayin.gov. And that concludes my report.
Any comments or questions for Tammy?
No, I want to know, how's the, out at the parks as far as vandalism? Is it still going on or what, you know?
Minor, yes,
Minor?
but nothing major.
Good.
But yes, we do still see some minor issues. Yeah, bathrooms and like our message boards. We had to replace the message board at one of the ball diamonds.
One park versus the other, Meadowwood?
Meadowwood's hit more than
Is that right?
Leonard, yeah.
Okay. Oh, good. Well, appreciate all the work you're doing.
Yep, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy. And last but not least, Public Works, Jared Sutton.
Good evening, council. It's my first time, so take it easy on me. Okay, so for wastewater, plant treated 135 million gallons for July. They've been groundskeeping and plant maintenance. They started digging the footer for the new generator energy savings project, which is exciting. Greg Hummel, who used to work here in the past, he will, on the 18th of August, he will be the new assistant superintendent at the plant. And then a big thank you for the Speedway Fire Department for the fire extinguisher training they gave to the wastewater treatment plant staff. So, thanks. Water Department, they treated 68 million gallons for the month of July. Waterworks is in the process of the third quarter compliance sampling, ongoing maintenance and groundskeeping, and that's what they got for them. And then Street Department, so we are actively trying to get a hold of this weed problem that's all over town. And I mean, if you can help in any way, weed eat the curb in front of your house, because we've got weeds everywhere and it looks horrible, and I'm trying really hard. So we're actively trying to get rid of the weed problem we have going on. We're working with engineers and contractors on the infamous 25th Street and our Crawfordsville Road project, which is awesome. And then we're also working, doing sewer cleaning here in town, and then we'll be moving to Chapel Hill once town is clean. And then, as usual, trying to keep up with potholes on the section of 25th we're not at yet. And yard waste and endless mowing because it keeps raining. So, any questions, concerns for me, comments?
Yeah, I got a couple of them. What are some of the biggest challenges on 25th Street? You know, because it's hard to, when you see the sun out and no work going on, and we might not, know exactly, what's happening. I heard, that they had lost their curb machine one day.
Yes.
And delayed it. So why don't you let the public know what's some of the challenges that you see going on?
On 25th Street, we're struggling in just manpower with our contractor that we have. They're trying to mitigate it as much as possible, so it's not necessarily their fault. But like today, we didn't have crews out very long. They were out this morning backfilling with dirt behind the new curb they poured. On the south side in front of the school, but it's just trying to mitigate the staffing issue. So today we had crews that came from the Union Hall, and it took them roughly an hour to set a couple of forms. And so the site super said, "Hey, you guys need to go. We'll wait till we get somebody better." So that's kind of the struggle we're going with right now. Their asphalt seems to be really nice. When they do have their curb machine working, the curbs seem to be really nice as well. So I think our future struggle here soon is going to be lead walks from houses meeting the grade of the sidewalk that we've poured. And so it's going to be a thing where we have quantities for extra concrete. We might have to take a couple of panels per house to try to match that grade. But it's nothing that we haven't done before. I mean, our previous projects in the past, like Maplewood, same exact issue, and we've moved on with those with no struggle. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
So as far as the contract says, what's the completion date of the project?
The completion date's November. Well, that's the substantial completion. The actual completion date, final completion, will be in January. So I know it's kind of frustrating because it seems like they're taking forever on this one, but per contract, they don't have to be done
till January.
I think that's the most important thing to remember when you approve these contracts. It's for, say, a 4 to 6 month period. They don't do anything for the first month. You really have no recourse to force them to get out there. It's all up to them to get the project done on time. We have also had, and Jared hasn't really mentioned it, but we did have a lot of rain, which led to a lot of the issues early on. We believe that they did some things that they shouldn't have done, taking all the drainage out, creating a lake in many ways that didn't allow it to dry out quickly enough to pass the proof rolls that we've discussed. I do think, though, that the work that they've done has been pretty good. It's just not necessarily been speedy.
Right.
I think when you compare both projects, the other contractor on Crawfordsville has been the model of efficiency and progress. Their project also, though, is a little bit easier because it doesn't involve a full road base. So I think that needs to be thrown out there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. I mean, if you've paid attention to the Crawfordville Road project, it is soaring. To no fault of their own, they've had struggles with our design engineer, didn't account for all the utilities that are in the way. So we've struggled to kind of get some of those moved. So we're kind of like in a dead zone right now, kind of waiting for some of those utilities to move, but they are actively jumping around to where they can work. And I mean, I've walked almost all of the new sidewalk that they've poured, and it's money, it's perfect. So it really couldn't be better.
Yep.
So.
Well, I appreciate you keeping an eye on it and helping Cheryl keep the public informed of what's going on.
We're a
Appreciate
team,
it.
so.
Any other comments or
Well,
questions?
the only other comment I would have about, Jared mentioned some of the design issues that we've had. That consultant, we have put on notice that if we lead to additional expense for MOB or demobilization because of extended delays, we will be going back on them based on their contract. So I know that's something we're going to take very seriously. If you remember, that contract did increase a little bit because they had some issues and we negotiated that. But if it does delay the project, I'm not going to be shy about enforcing that original contract with them and seeing what we can get out of them.
Oh, that's good.
And we have had like a game plan with our 25th Street contractor moving forward when they go to the second phase. Hey, you are not to rip out the entire roadway. Let's step back for a minute. Let's, look at the soil before we make a harsh decision to just go ahead and rip out the entire roadway. That way we can try to mitigate this problem we've already had. So.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Are there any phase gate check-ins that we can have, or any other recourse, especially when we have, I know you mentioned, the manpower shortage. I mean, you would hope that that's something the contractor would have taken into account and be able to mitigate that themselves going in, and it shouldn't be something that, that falls on us to I guess, to the detriment of us, I guess. So those are some things that are just a little disappointing about it. Not on our side, but I think that if we are going into the second phase, I don't know what latitude we have on any of the agreements at this point. But I think that, it seems a bit unacceptable if there are issues that they can't find workers to do the job that they contracted to do. So again, not towards you, I'm just saying in general.
I think they have too many other jobs going on at the same time, and it's poor planning on their part. And at the end of the day, it's not really acceptable, like you said. Right. We're going to pay the money. We're the client. We deserve what we paid for. So.
Absolutely. So.
And every contract has a liquidated damages clause, but it typically kicks in if they miss dates. So if they start missing dates, I can't remember the amount. It's probably $500 a day. It's not that huge, because if you put it huge, then they're going to charge you for that and you're going to get higher bids. But if you remember the gateway sign on High School, we ended up actually racking up about $20,000 in liquidated damages that they had to reduce from their pay request because they missed certain dates. So we'll hold their feet to the fire and hold them accountable. That's the way we've got to deal with it. when you go with the low bid, sometimes you get what you pay for. And unfortunately, with $1 million projects, we have to go with the low bid. So.
All right, anything else for Jared? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, town manager report. Grant.
We have been working on the budget for several months now, and we are to the point, Philip and I have been working with our department heads. We're to the point that we're ready to finalize that budget, package it up in our nice little binders. They're not little, they're about this thick. Put the PowerPoint presentation together for you, and then we have those over the next couple of weeks. I know we originally had them scheduled next week, but that may be problematic for some. We're going to have to put our heads together and figure out when we're going to move those. But look forward to those meetings. They're always a joy, particularly when we have financial problems because of some actions of the state. I'd love to make sure our residents are protected and that they're paying what they should be paying. But to do some of the things that have been done, it's going to have an impact on us. And we have planned for that. We have reduced expenditures where we can, trying to make sure, identify other sources of revenue. And that's part of the job that I get paid for, Philip gets paid for, the department heads get paid for. And we've kind of sharpened our pencils and looked for where we can save and make cuts and strategically do still what we need to do to provide our focus and mission to provide daily services to our residents. So look forward to that discussion with the council over the next couple of weeks, and I know you guys are excited about that. So that's all I have.
Yeah, I know that Indianapolis is passing their budget tonight, $1.7 billion. You'd think we could be able to get Georgetown Road and a couple other streets that they're responsible for, out of that $1.7 billion, and handle at least, some of the ones that are around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's all I got.
Yeah, they've got their own problems that.
Well, there's no, when you ignore something for that long, yeah.
All right, any other questions for Grant? All right, moving on to council reports. Sean?
Just a couple of things. So I know we've hit on it a couple of times, but obviously with school starting, the 25th Street project, I know that it put a little bit of extra burden on parents dropping their children off at the high school. So I just want to thank Chief Upchurch, Dr. Trebley, Cheryl, for all of the communication and planning that went into making school drop off and pick up as smooth as it could be. I know I have a freshman going to the high school for the first time, and so it was my first time experiencing the high school drop off, which is busy in and of itself. But I think with all the planning that went in, it went very smoothly. And I'm sure there were still hiccups, but really appreciate the time and the efforts you all put in to make that as painless or less painful than it could have been. So thank you for that. Also want to just reiterate, Brian brought up, opening day of the new stadium coming up here on August 29th. I don't know, hopefully you've had a chance to go by and take a look at it. I had a chance to go out there last week with the football team, and it is beautiful. It's something that we're all going to be very proud of. Really looking forward to seeing everybody out there on Friday night, the 29th. And as you probably saw, the new scoreboard is up. We were very fortunate to get an anonymous donor to provide that for our town, which is really exciting. So hope to see everyone there on the 29th so we can celebrate the new addition. So.
All right, thank you. Moving on to Vince.
Just a couple of things. I think with the extreme heat that we're looking at, check in on your neighbors, senior neighbors, make sure everything's okay with them. It's almost bad. I think it's even worse in the summertime with the extreme heat in the household. And make sure that they're well taken care of. Also, again, just it's always wise, especially in the summertime, you get kids and individuals breaking into cars around the neighborhoods. Keep your eyes open and please report it. You see something that's not ordinary in your neighborhood, call the police department, report them in, they can check it out. And it's better to be on a safe side than especially some of those guys that will break in multiple cars in a certain area. That's all I've got for tonight.
All right, thank you. Jason?
Nothing for me tonight.
All right. And then just, from the junior high up to high school, a lot of sports activities going to be starting outside, very much looking forward to football, but there's volleyball, cross country, soccer. Yeah, there's just a ton of stuff going out. Go support the kids that are, putting a lot of work and effort in, especially those outside sports. I mean, it's, not easy, so I'm sure they'd be very appreciative of getting attendance to the games there. And then with that said, it is 7:56. I will call this meeting adjourned.